Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to TFC Open Mic, Season 2, Episode 5. It's a week prior to the raid kicking in, so which will be an interesting one. So we know the fact that the raid is going to release some T6 stuff, so we'll discuss that tonight with the panel, and we're basically going to discuss the situation that's obviously about the dailies. We've got a bit of a bug going on there as well. We're going to review a little bit about T5s and the worth of the T5s, and maybe look forward to what you should filter out those T5s if you've got all the holes, what to build. We're talking a little bit about Revo Armadas, and definitely going to cover something about 109s. And that's it for this evening. So that's the subjects, and then obviously we'll have about 10 minutes at the end to talk about the anything else that somebody in the panel or in the chat wants to bring in as a topic within the hour. First and foremost, though, good evening, everybody. How are we?
Oh, doing okay.
So we've got quite a full panel tonight. Let's have a quick...
Hello.
Hello, Stu. How you doing, mate? And Tito as well. And Quark's back in. My God, mate, I haven't seen you for a long time. It's good to have you back on, buddy. Jeff's in, yeah, Pete's in as well, and that sort of stuff. Imri's back in as well. It's obviously got... we got some right rogues in tonight as well, haven't we? Obviously, I've just seen Dr. Death in as well, and obviously Nines in as well. So good. Welcome all in the chat. So, I think we'll crack on then with the daily, shall we? So, daily's obviously kicked in the middle of the week and that sort of stuff after the update, which was fantastic. We know that it was level locked to the above 80s first. We can discuss why and our thoughts about that in a second. Okay. In fact, let's start with that now. So, who thinks it should have been the lower levels first, or who thinks it should have been it was right to be the higher levels, the 80s and above?
No, I think
it's right that the high levels go first, just because normally you have more frees than the other ones to test, and we are guinea pigs this week to see how this works. And if you give it this to the low levels, they are already fed up with chores and alike. And if you give one more that can give some damage, especially if they have the mega ship types ones, maybe they don't have the fleets yet, you are just taking them way behind on repairs.
Well, we don't know what the targets are for the lower levels yet, first off. Second off, it's not really a chore. And third, I think they start with the higher levels. It's a better idea because we are generally the ones that have a better tech depth and can actually participate better. So if they want to get any sort of, numbers back from participation or engagement or anything, you're going to have you're going to get better numbers and a better, broader picture from us than, 0 to 50.
I do find one of them to be a chore, actually. I find the one that you use your Apollos on to be a bit
I autoed it. I must admit, I'm very lazy. So I was just watching TV and just altered it and that sort of stuff. And I did it, like I said, I was going to do in the midweek show. I did it and then just fixed overnight and just left it. So.
But how is it? Hold on, Stu, how is it a chore?
Well, if you don't want to take damage, you have to drive, and there's still 3 targets to do. In the base defense one, I just sort of click start, and that's it. Everything's done for me.
But
which is not a chore.
But you don't got to do it. But you don't got to do it. This is the thing.
You're right. I don't have to, but if I want that,
right. It's that the community is greedy, and the moment that they know that there are blueprints and some of them can be one day, everybody wants to do it.
Wanting to do it is not a chore.
Yeah, but it becomes a chore if you want it.
I agree with Stu. It's a chore at the moment that it's something that is quite interesting inside there that you know that you can get.
No, chore is stuff that you have to get. Like if you're going to do a mega, the 91s are a chore because you have to get your titanium. Okay, that's a chore. If you want to get the FM prizes, if you want to get all the FM prizes, you have to do your FM. That's a chore. You have to do it. This is completely optional.
I think it's just a matter of perspective. What we are discussing here, we're not going to get into any agreement at the end, George.
No. So perspective, okay, and it's good, and it's nice to have a varied perspective on it. To be honest, for me personally, it's a take it or leave it. The prize is not. It's no game changer. But there are some decent stuff in there. I mean, the top count I've seen so far, personally, 150 150k in U. That's not a bad top up, is it? I think that's quite reasonable. And I think so far I've seen best is 500 things in base parts as well. So that's also acceptable.
My first
500,000.
Dr. Death,
my opinion about all this is the one mistake they've made on this is that level locking it. We all know that the player level, the base level, does not match tech level for the players that are in this game. So that, there's a lot of players that are above level 80 that are probably struggling to do like the mega campaign with the Apollos if they don't have them. And there's a lot of players underneath level 80 that have the tech to do these with no problem at all. So the level lock is where I think the problem is.
Levels haven't actually been something you're worried about in the game since the old style of levels. You know, when you look at someone's base and you're like, oh my god, this guy's level 30, he's going to have such a good base. You know, that was the last time I worried about someone's level.
I remember those days.
Yeah, you know, like those days where you're like, oh my god, this guy's level 33, he must be such a good player, you know?
Do you know what?
It's not like that.
You know, it's just been mentioned in the chat as well, and I've got somebody that's level 90 in mine, and he still doesn't have Apollos, so he's doing every other one, because he can do the base attack, no problem at all, but he hasn't got anything to go out with reasonable damage, because he basically skipped over the Apollo raids and that sort of stuff, and can't do them, just literally cannot do them, and that's level 90. So yeah, base level doesn't seem mean a great deal. Not to everybody. I mean, I'm not, that's a one-off maybe and that sort of stuff. But there will be people out there. You know, there's plenty of people that never built subs because they just hate the sub rates and left them. So if that becomes one of them later on, we know they're going to bring in. This is just 2 to start with. Ours may go up to 4 this next week when they bring in the small ones, or they may bring in the smaller ones from the 50 ones up to the 80s or 79s, and then the week after that they may introduce some other ones as well, because that was the hint that was coming from GDR. So.
Well, I pretty much skipped the Apollo raids. I did have some help for like a couple prizes I wanted. But other than that, I didn't build a single Apollo.
Well, there we go.
I was doing it with V2s that pretty much until I got help. And I built 2 Apollos right now, just 2 of them. So about 30 days worth of build time. And I'm doing it with a crew. I'm doing it for under 2 hours damage, like an hour and 40 minutes. And without the crew, I'm still doing it at like 2.5 hours with 2 Apollos.
Right. Okay. So you've got to then trade off obviously damage versus obviously return, that sort of stuff. As we all, to be honest, you know.
And pretty much 2 Apollos is the minimum that you need for doing any of the stuff. The 91 megas, you only need 2 Apollos to actually drive through them.
Yeah, true. Just pause a minute. Jeff, you got your mic? Is it all right there, mate? Just check it, bud. Just come in and say something.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, that's all right, mate. That's okay. It was a bit quiet when you came in earlier on. That's why. Just checking. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, so the dailies are in, that sort of stuff. You know, it's level locked to the 80s. We get that. There's 2 campaigns at the moment. Okay, then the base hitting one. You know, if you are of that level, I'd like to think I haven't seen many people that had the ships coming into their channel at all. The videos I've seen, you know, they basically, including Ren's video, which is quite a good one. You know, they're not even getting as far as that, especially if you've got cat mortars on there. They're firing fast enough if you get the support, so that basically they're splashing everything before they get to the channel. There's that one ship on level 2 of the first run that's quite quick, isn't it, and gets around so far. But apart from that, that's about it. Is that right? Would you agree?
Yeah. And actually, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna segue into the glitches that we have, because there are 2 of them right now, and one of them. Yeah, one of them for that campaign that you're talking about right there. If you have no base guard in, or your base guard is dead, I found this out the hard way because someone had hit me, had sunk my base guard, and I was like, I'll just do the campaign. You will glitch the Reaver campaign because it actually needs something to spawn some of the ships to go and attack, because their target is a ship. So if you put a gunboat in, it'll actually let you finish the campaign. So if you're glitching out and you're timing out and you're going, hey, this thing isn't finishing, why isn't it finishing? Why is it saying that it's a stalemate? It's because you need a something in your base guard to be alive, so it'll spawn and target. That's the first one. The second one I'll let someone else do.
Okay. Well, the second one's pretty obvious. I think we all know what the second one is. The second one is that basically it made a mistake. It should have been resetting, obviously, at midnight, PST and that sort of stuff. And basically, for some reason, after some time yesterday afternoon, it started resetting every hour. And it's been resetting every hour, approximately, for nearly 24 hours now. So
is it only the Mega one, or is it both of them?
It's both of them.
I think it's both, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I read on the forums somewhere that part of the problem with that was that people were getting errors when they tried to start up the daily campaign against it, and it was saying that all the targets had been destroyed. So they tweaked the code, and that caused the respawn every hour bug.
Yeah. So I saw a post. I think it was from. In fact, I'm having a look. Yeah, it's from Doom. I'm just on the page as well now, and Doom basically said they've locked it out as of an hour and 15 minutes ago. Until it's fixed, they're not going to bring it back in again, because obviously it's taking an advantage of a glitch in the game and that stuff, which is against the TOS. And those that whether they make them pay it back, I can't see. Once you've had your chest and you've opened it, haven't you? So it's hell, it's a bit like the Bullseye Brigade, isn't it, Stu? As we were talking to everyone, if it isn't quite working according to plan, that's not necessarily our fault. We didn't make the game, So
those that
I was in the middle of one this afternoon. They turned it off.
Take it.
So sorry, just saying. So those that had the base hitting campaign that had a good base could repeat it literally every hour and get quite a lot of crates. But personally, I became aware of it earlier today and had the Apollo campaign. And so with 5 Apollos, I could take my time and essentially do it for instant repair, which would take me best part of an hour, and then it'd be almost ready to start again. So if I could be bothered to do that, I could get a free crate, which is great. But compare that to 5 minutes of base hitting. I think some people were lucky enough to be able to glitch a repeat on that one. How many were people able to get? I think I did 4 today, which I was quite happy with.
I did 4 or 5, I think.
I'm not disclosing, but I did enough to stop myself doing any more.
I did 0 because that's how awesome I am.
Because you slept.
Well, I got the Armada or the Reaver one 3 times in a row, so I got lucky. Yeah,
exactly. So, at the end of the day, I was surprised. I mean, I have to say, I thought they'd changed their minds to start with. I thought they'd gone, do you know what? Actually, it's that good, and people are enjoying it, and the prize pools aren't very big. I was looking to see if they'd change their mind. Instead of making it 24/7, every 24 hours, they'd change it to every hour. And I did troll for it, and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see any update, nothing at all. It took me quite a while to work out that, well, I didn't know if I'd actually worked it out, to be honest. It just didn't seem to be doing what it should have done. So just carry on playing the game, don't you? It's interesting, to say the least. Anyway, it stopped. There is information out there now, obviously, so they'll recalibrate accordingly and that sort of stuff. And I'm sure they'll have it fixed pretty quick, to be honest. So that's dailies. Okay, what do we think about the 2 dailies themselves? Do you think it's fair to have one that lasts quite a while, and then one that's like really, really short and just get it over and done with? So it's alternate. They do seem to be alternating, don't they?
I'd prefer them to just be 2 really short campaigns that you could just get over and done with and go do whatever, Like, rather than, one that I can just click, done, that's it, and the other one I have to kind of drive. I mean, it kind of makes me think that I don't really want to do the Apollo one, so I have to put effort in, which sounds incredibly lazy, I'm aware. But, yeah, I mean, it's a daily campaign. It's a cool little reward. It stops me going out collecting uranium if I get uranium. The base parts aren't too much of a dent that I cannot go and get base parts, but it's a nice little top up if I get that. But yeah, it's just it's difficult because, like, on the one side, the base defense one is awesome, and on the other side, if I want to do the Apollo one, I've kind of got to put a bit of effort in. So maybe it's fair, maybe it's not. I don't know who I am to judge it. So.
My opinion about it was real simple. I mean, it's a daily login bonus. It should have just been 2 campaigns like the base attack campaign. And I really don't like the mega hole campaign because, I've got a mega hole. So I got to go out and farm anywhere from 10 to 15 91s every single day for titanium to keep my mega hole building. And having to hit 2 more 91s because there's 2 91s inside that campaign for the daily just annoys me to no end. I'm already having to hit enough of them. I don't want to hit no more.
But you are opting to take part in the mega hole piece.
4 91s because there's 2 91s inside that campaign for the daily. Just annoys me to no end. I'm already having to hit enough of them. I don't want to hit no more.
Yeah. I've got it. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. So we got some background noise there, I think, haven't we? I think, Clark, I think you've got a YouTube channel as well, mate.
Yeah, I think that was
double check, mate.
That was Quark, I think.
Yeah. Just double check.
I thought we got stuck in the Matrix. Sorry.
And that's a good lead, actually. Okay, so we'll jump a couple of the points that I said in the intro there, basically. So we'll talk about Reaver Armadas because obviously I know Nine's done a couple of videos and that sort of stuff, and I've seen some posts on the page, and we talked about ourselves, and George has obviously put some paperwork in to Kixie and some videos as well about the fluctuation on damage in the Reaver Armadas, particularly some of the 57s and the 75s. But I think, you know, we can talk about that, but I think what's actually the win-win, you know, and that's across all three of the communities and you know, the main 3 pages that do the shows, and that's the fact that they've actually added the retreat button back in, which I've already noticed in my own sector. We've hit yellow and then straight into orange at least 4, if not 5 times today, and that's had a massive transformation in the game. And a lot of people are out prepping for alliances and that sort of stuff, and actually just for general people on comms going, anybody wants something prepped, and they'll just nip over and prep them, you know. Particularly the 102s, they seem to be very ergonomic for prepping, actually, to be honest.
Oh, I agree. It was a great. It was a great thing that Kixeye put that retreat button in. But I'm just worried. Did they do that just to placate the community about the damage increase, or are they still going to actually find what's causing the problem and fix it?
Oh, there you go. See that conspiracy theory? I like it.
Tinfoil heads.
Yeah.
And from what I can see,
why is that the cleanest?
Armor. What I did this morning, it looks like the armor is the big factor in there. I mean, I'm having to shoot twice as much to kill the 57s and the 75s compared to the 102s. And I normally one-shot in 102s.
Okay. Anybody else the same?
Well, for me, the 102 needs to be revisited by them and check things, because the other thing is that why the highest one gives you the same amount of 3 level points rather than the 75. I think they should be different. So I think that
the 102, I think
too quick.
You're getting 47 from the 102, aren't you?
No, he's talking about
the 3,500.
Oh, yeah, sector. Yeah, no, yeah.
But the thing is, I think that 102 was mainly put in just so you can get fragments. I don't think it was really put in to hurry up the threat level. I think it was mainly put in there just to get the Hellwraith fragments, and they gave us a little bit extra uranium too.
Oh, really?
Well, it's a little bit more than the 75, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a grey area, and I don't know. I know you've sent stuff in. I know Nine's done some stuff now, and we're all talking about it. But at least now sectors, and I quick scan through the world. I'm in, obviously in Delta at the moment, and I scanned up and down the world again today as I was driving around with my Merca ship and that sort of stuff. And I saw quite a few sectors that are back in the orange and that sort of stuff, and it's a marked improvement already. Whether people are just prepared to go, well, they've turned the damage up. Okay, the game flex is up. We're going to accept it. Just crack on. I don't know. Whether the coiners actually aren't bothered about it and just take it as a pinch of salt and go, well, I'm just going to crack on anyway, because they will. I'm not so sure. If you think it's sneaky that they've turned it up and not told anybody or admitted it, it's their right to do so. The problem is in the terms of service, they can fluctuate the target so they, it's not the first time it's happened, is it?
I think it's not a sneak move. I think that it's just a mistake that when they bring one of those campaigns that have the same targets, for some reason, some of the setups in there got override for the ones from the TLC. Maybe they used the same tag for both ships, and that's the problem they have. So if they have the old setups for all those targets and they just revisit them one by one and check the stats on those ships, they could check and fix.
Yeah, that's what George is talking about, I think.
But it kills progression because, honestly, normally if you're building a fleet, you would at least try to be able to do the lower targets and work your way up. Now it's you either do 57s or 102s and pretty much skip the 75s.
Yeah, I've done that now. I've gone straight to 102s. I must admit, I find them supposed return against damage.
But anyway, if you can do the 102 and you are using the now fixed irradiating control, why you would do a 75 unless there is no 102s on the map?
No, I'm just prepping for people. That's what I'm doing. I can go out and I can prep probably 30 easy before my tides need to get fixed. I've only got 3 tides. That's all I ever bothered building with. Mine's got Garwoods on, so I can outrange most of the stuff that's in there and kite it all. So
you're still using Garwoods, man?
Most definitely. I prefer them over anything else. But that's my fleet. I know you got a different thing, so I'm not refitting them now, mate. It's a waste of time. They did the job. That'll do. It's like Apollos.
Yeah.
I can do a lot more to my Apollos, but what's the point? It's done. Put it to bed. Leave it alone. You know, if you're refitting tides now, you're in the wrong area of the game, as far as I'm concerned. It's a done deal. Move on. Okay, so Reaver Martyrs, we're good. Okay, damage, interesting. Retreat button, fantastic. Thumbs up, Kixie, for that one there. Like I say, congrats to particularly Ren, Jeff Price, and definitely Prof for basically putting up, across all 3 pages to get that sorted out, which they did. And it definitely paid off. It was looked at, it was assessed.
Time too.
Yeah, I looked at, assessed, and actually it came back with a win-win for the community on that one there. So that was really good. So that was community-led feedback that actually came to that result. So yeah, I'm really impressed that they actually listened to us as a collective, and it has already helped the game. I've noticed it myself. Right,
now we
George.
need to
Go on, sorry, yeah.
Now we need to tell them, all of you guys need together. We'll get together and tell them that the next raid prize needs to be 2 million points.
Good luck with that.
We'll come on to the T5, T6 stuff after this next thing. So,
yeah, I see. Nines. You're optimist.
Hugely optimistic there. George, did you want to mention something about the 109s, mate? Because you've noticed a couple of bugs, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've been doing some random testing on them, and there's, a lot of people are saying that they're finding more damage in them and this and that. And what I did was I tried to replicate issues that people were telling me that they could find, or issues that might have happened. And what I did find was, in using some combinations, I could actually get the fleets to stick at one particular point in the target. I also was finding that in the top right-hand corner, I think, coming down towards that island and the citadel that was firing, there would be a random 1 or 2 mortars that would get by your antis, and your antis would continue to fire. They would fire past it to the ones behind it, and it would ignore that 1 or 2 mortars, and those had a tendency to land on your citadels if you were actually driving them properly. It would land right behind your CM. I did take my CM to purposely test it and stuck it with my citadels, and it would still get by and hit, and it was doing damage. So if people are seeing some increase in damage, you might want to take a video or take a screenshot even showing that mortar's getting by, now that we know that might be one of the things, and send in a ticket so they can debug it, because one person telling them is not I don't think enough. I have a tendency to break stuff, so if I report it, they might just go, well, it's just him being a schmuck again. So
I mean, so that's interesting. So that's 109. And Stu, I was going to ask you something, if you wouldn't mind. Tell me about what you found, obviously, with people putting obviously countermeasures on their base hitting holes on their PvP fleets, and then chucking a bullseye crew.
Yeah, that's really annoying me. I prefer not to talk about it because it's really, really, really annoying. But okay. So I found out that someone with 1 Gale 3 against 4 Cat mortars wearing a Bullseye Brigade crew can shoot down all of the Cat mortar with just 1 Gale 3. And I'm not overly impressed by that. That's broken and needs to be addressed as soon as possible. Either it needs to be addressed, or the blueprint itself needs to be updated to say we'll shoot down.
And you said you noticed as well, for some bizarre reason, because it definitely shouldn't do it, that it's also shooting down
Gales are also shooting down missiles. That wasn't me that noticed that. That was a Pain Train that noticed that.
At first a lot of people were saying that it was the Bullseye Brigade and stuff, and part of it might be the mechanic there that helps it with the phalanx and stuff. But I think something fundamentally is off on the Gales, because that's what I was actually using in the 109s and getting that problem with the mortars getting through.
The main issue I have with the Bullseye Brigade isn't necessarily right now. I mean, people are using it to kind of break bases they perhaps couldn't get into before. But the problem is we're on the verge of releasing Tier 6 Conquerors.
Yeah.
You bring out a Tier 6 Conqueror and then you throw a Bullseye Brigade on with a bunch of Gales, that's game over for your
back of the race, isn't it? Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do to stop it? If it shits down, the most OP turret we have right now is that mortar. Well, against most ships anyway. I mean, obviously the ships with explosive deflection, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But that is technically probably the best turret that we own right now, until they bring out some more.
Right, but
And
what I'm
if you
saying
take
is,
that out of the equation straight away, like it cuts your base power down. You know, so you're kind of just sitting there with something that's completely useless in your base because someone's abusing a glitchy crew.
right, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, it might not be the Bullseye Brigade that's glitched. I think it might actually be the Gale that might be glitched. Yeah.
Oh no! Because if you put one Gale 3 in a base without Bullseye Brigade, I can guarantee that ship's dead against Cat Mortars. Like it won't stop them. Like I mean, yeah, the Gale is a little buggy itself when it comes to missiles. The Gale is shooting down missiles by itself for some reason, but the Bullseye Brigade is also bugged.
Right, but the thing is, the Gale mechanic should not, because it's not an accuracy type of thing, because it is accuracy based, but it doesn't work the same way as the Phalanx. You know what I mean?
Yeah, correct, but it's still, I mean, it's just like the crew bugs that Gale out, if that makes sense.
Right,
Like,
that's
I mean,
why I'm saying I think it might be the Gale, not the crew.
Well,
The
they're both
combination is what's broke, but I'm saying that I think from just having the other stuff going on at the same time with the Gale, I think the Gale has to get looked at real
they're
quick.
both buggy if you think about it. I mean, we used to use the Bullseye Brigade on our Apollo fleets. I didn't. I could never get hold of them. For that raids,
The Apollo raids, yeah.
yeah,
I
for
did.
the Apollo raids, yeah. I mean,
Right.
everyone used it, right? And you shoot down everything all the time. But it doesn't say on
Right.
the blueprint anywhere you will shoot down everything without measures.
Well, now look, the thing with that is back in the day when Bullseye Brigade first came out, that actually is how it worked. And then they quote unquote fixed it or changed it or whatever so it wouldn't do that. And then it went back to doing that. So originally that's exactly how it was meant to work.
Oh, code, new code.
Well, if it is supposed to work like that, then they need to update the blueprint to say it will help counter.
Well, you know, we played the game for a year and a half before they changed the guidance scramble to say that it affected anything with accuracy. It used to say just missiles.
Yeah,
it is. Anyway, move on. Dr. Def, you've got something as well. Glitch, haven't you?
Yeah, I doubt that anybody on this panel, because I know most of us all hit top-end targets. But there is a bug in the 95 Drak mines. And Kickstarter needs to take a look at it. If you go in that bottom right or bottom left corner and hit that that launcher turret that's sitting down there,
comes back to life.
Another one spawns in its place.
Oh, I heard that.
Phantom turret.
Yeah.
I hit one today right after I saw that video and it died. One shot,
Really?
boom, dead. Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, your mic.
Yeah, static up the wazoo there, mate.
How's that?
Don't know.
Your mic is all staticky, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's frustrating himself. Yeah. So basically, 95 targets. What you're basically saying there is that, you go and kill the one in the bottom right hand corner, and basically it just comes back alive again and starts shooting at you again, which is a bit weird. So you have to go and kill it again. I don't know. If that's
Like I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's not brilliant, but yeah, go on.
I saw that video and went into a 95 with my ironclad and killed that turret, and it never came back.
It didn't come back. Okay.
If you're using splash, if you're using an ironclad with Mausers, it doesn't come back because your splash is killing everything on the platform. Nothing can respawn. But if you're using anything else that does not have that splash, it respawns. I tested it out with my Zelos with the Quake Cannon, and I one-shotted the turret, it disappeared, and then respawned and started shooting again, and I had to one-shot it again. So it's the reason why the ironclad is not respawning on the ironclad is because the splash is killing it. I don't know if maybe they've got two turrets just stacked on top of each other, so that when you're shooting at it the first time, you're killing the first turret but not seeing the second turret till the first turret's destroyed, or what. But you know, it is a bug.
Yeah, definitely. It's we iron one out 1 week and we green another one. You know, it's like one step forward, two steps back sometimes, isn't it? So
I've sent in 3 bugs last week about mega ships to Kickstarter. If you guys want to hear about those.
go on, Emery. Yeah, be good, mate.
Where's Stu?
Yeah, he's listening intently. Come on.
So number one, you use your drones in a battle, and you take absolutely no damage whatsoever. After the battle, if you check your Mega, you can see that your drone module is repairing. In my case, it's about 20 minutes. And if you go and hit someone else again, and you take no damage at all once again, it's not going up to somewhere around 40 minutes or so. It just gets topped up back to that original 20 minutes or so damage. So that's number one.
Right.
Number two, you go out, you find yourself a lovely Nexus, you start killing it, and you make someone orphan, but you don't kill it. And those megas are going back to next to the base, and you want to follow that ship and kill it just to make it look pretty, and you can't hit it. There's no attack button for that guy.
Yeah, I've noticed that this week as well. I've done quite a few megas this week, I must admit. I'm sort of getting into it myself now. So I've done about, 60 this week. And I found that exact same thing. I was really surprised. I hit a hive, and I can't remember whose it was, but I hit a hive anyway. And the ship, I hadn't finished it off. And I went to go and finish the darn thing off, and then I couldn't go near it. I was like, oh, I've just done something wrong. I've glitched, I've made a mistake. I couldn't work out what it was. So I'm glad you said that, mate. What's the third one, mate?
Which one was it? Oh yeah, there's that thing about the repair of the mega ships. You go out, you enjoy yourself, and you got some damage on your mega ship. You can even possibly have a few modules totally dead. And then if you park your mega and instead of waiting for 4 hours, you go back and try to hit someone, let's say after 2 hours, all of a sudden you got your damage back, like if you've done 0 repair at all, except on the very front module.
Oh, really? So it's resetting back to the original damage state, and then adding obviously the bit.
Only the very top of the nose is the one which gives the repair. Everything else resets back to no repair.
Right. How bizarre.
Interesting.
That's weird. I'll have to have a play with that later on.
Interesting is not the word I would have said about something that was alcohol related, but okay, sure.
We know you're taking notes there.
We are. You know, you're getting so close to building that baby. You know you are.
Yeah, let's see this.
What's funny is he's probably gonna stop building it, and like about 2 weeks later, after he's gotten into it a little bit, he's gonna be like all gung ho for it.
I haven't collected any of the fragments for Hyperion or whatever it is. I'll probably end up buying those. I thought you said you were going to buy them. Yeah, I'll probably end up buying those as well.
Yeah.
You'll coin them, I know you will.
Yeah, if that's like £8 or whatever the other ones were for. Sure,
yeah, they were. Yeah, I did it straight away, mate, because I'm just so lazy.
That saves me a hell of a lot of time going out.
Yeah. Just the lazy factor did it for me.
To be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm supposed to hit to get the friggin' fragment. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'll buy them.
91.
90, it's all 91.
Don't tell me.
Yeah, 91. A few bases,
well, how about this? How about we just have a show of hands here on who hates the the mega halls?
This is from a guy that's like doesn't have a video camera going. Let's have a show of hands.
How are we supposed to show hands?
Jesus.
That's the point.
Good Lord.
Brilliant. Great. Awesome. Moving on.
Right, come on then, let's move on. Right, okay, so let's go on to the T6 stuff. Okay, so we know that obviously that we've got the Pride that's going to come in. We know that it's going to be obviously a scattergun hull, or it certainly looks like it anyway, based obviously with the weapon that we showed in the midweek show and that sort of stuff. We know it's got a narrowing special as well, which is almost like a bullseye sort of like. I wouldn't say it's a splash reducer, but it's definitely going to channel, I think, the scattergun into a more focused beam and that sort of stuff. But personally, I'm a bit frustrated. The first one that's coming out, and we did hear there was going to be a series of maybe 7, or if not 8, or something like that, but probably 7. That it is a scatter. I was hoping for something like a missile hull.
Yeah. I mean, you are missing the point there. I mean, if it is a scatter, sorry, did you want to go?
Yeah, go. Someone go.
Well, no, it's okay. You can go and I finish then.
I was just about to say, I'm sorry, but you are kind of missing the point. Like, I mean, yeah, it may be a scattergun, but we don't have to use it as scattergun. You know, I mean, we've already got Zoe's Vendettas and Vendettas built. Just throw a missile or a launcher on it, and off you go.
Full of Pandos.
Yeah, and Pandos also. You use the Furies, but who didn't end with Furies with Scorios or Blades or something like that?
No, this made sense to me, actually. This actually made sense to me because the Fury, the one scatter ship that we had in the Conqueror Hulls, that's the only one that Kixeye did not throw out multiple campaigns, multiple tokens, so that you could build hundreds of them. You know what I mean? So it made sense that they brought out the first Conqueror Hull for Tier 6B scatter, because that's generally the one hull in our series of fleets that we don't have 10 or 15 of. You know, because they've given us so many freaking tokens for every single other hull that's in the Conqueror class.
That, and we might actually have a chance, since it's going to be a scatter hall, if people do build it like that, we've got a range, we might actually be able to take it out rather than it completely walk us.
Yeah, but why they didn't bring the one I am missing? Oh, I don't know you guys, but I am missing a good fleet with UAVs.
Yeah, and let's not talk about the Alpha, because that's not the answer, because obviously it's Defender, and
No.
it's...
That's UAVs. I thought that was just for making ticklers and distract the fleet
tickling
while
you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's stroking you as you go by.
I'm not looking forward to anything UAV attack related. Do you guys seriously not remember the last UAV ship that came out, the Drak Carrier, and
Yeah,
how
it's
it
great
used
fun.
to chain and destroy your entire guard but barely give you a bubble?
But it was funny.
Hey, the good news is with level 15 warehouses, we can actually build a full Drak carrier now.
I'm telling you, so for me, the most funny thing was hit any other alliance, and the guy just got mad, popped his bubble, and you just get into that base again, use the first volley of your UAVs, and you can start to see that chain of reaction, and you kill the full fleet in a single shot.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It's a niche hole, isn't it? I mean, scattergun holes are niche holes. We all know that, yes, generally they can blitz targets and you just point and click at the back, and also that they've got a short shelf life.
Yeah, they have a short life as a blitzer, but then we find uses for them, like we did.
Yeah,
now,
that's what I was
using
saying
a Fury,
earlier.
to shield other fleets from.
Yeah, the stun of
those,
the Fury is great, I have
nasty,
to say.
From the Executioners, for example, or stuff like that, or who has not been prepped with that Zoe Fury. Zoe Retributions with a Fury.
With a Fury in it, yeah.
There's not a tier 5 Conqueror hull right now that I can't find a use for. You know,
No, me
which
too,
is
mate.
I think it's going to be the same way for the tier 6 Conquerors. Just
I hope it
because
does,
the designed weapon or the special weapon that came out with it is not working anymore doesn't mean we can't find a use for it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, my theory is that maybe the tier 5 are going to become the prepping fleets, and the tier 6 the smashing ones. I don't know, maybe they do something different, but
so
I like the idea. Have fleets for prepping and fleets for hitting.
I must admit,
going back to the old days.
I quite like, the Zoe's Retribution, 2 Retributions, 2 Furies combo. That's nice fun to play with, I have to say. It's a good little fleet, that is.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it works. I like it. I use it quite a bit because it really annoys a lot of people, including subs and people with Tidesig as well, because they get blitzed as well. So, and sometimes you put a Malice in as well. That's quite a good one to sneak in there as well, because obviously when people try and take out your Rets with some missile ships, and you can upset them quite nasty with some Malice. And I've seen people put in, yet again, they put in Malices and then putting on Millennium Cannons and then some Gale Freeze, and then using a Bullseye Crew, and then basically just driving straight through the base, going to the back and killing the base fleet. Because obviously they can't get through the walls, but they don't want to. That's not their goal. The goal is to do no damage to the base, but drive right around quickly and just take out the base fleet. I've seen a couple of people do that this week, which is quite impressive. Expensive, but quite impressive, But so so while we're talking about T5 holes, then if you bear in mind, obviously, within 14 days we're going to have a T6 hole coming out. So if you were starting to think about either building or finishing, what do you think is the most valued T5 hole we've got at the moment?
Baser wise, or
just in general, across the board, I mean, we really shouldn't talk about PvE, should we? Because I mean, you're not supposed to be using obviously Conquer holes in PvE, but
Harlock Citadel.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not a Conqueror though, is it? Although it's blooming brilliant, but the Harlock Vendetta is a good hull, I have to say. I think that's a good compromise if you've got one to build.
I thought it was the Zoe.
Sorry, so yeah, the Zoe Vendetta. I mean, I've got that in my base, because I was having the Harlock sit in there, and actually the Zoe sits in there quite nicely.
I think the thing is with the Conqueror hulls that we have right now, it's more. I don't know that you can say that one is more fantastic than another. You know what I mean? Because most of them work as a combination. If I had to pick one right now, it would be the Harlock's Revenge. Just for the combo that it offers.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, hell, they're just like Spites are fantastic to prep. I got prepped the other night, two Spite fleets to come take out most of my 2 Spite fleets and a Ghost Crawler to take out my god.
Cheap to fix as well, aren't they?
And that it's half an hour for each one of them. So it's
Yeah.
I think they're all it's all like a toolbox thing. I think they did a good job with them.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they'll replicate that again. Well, they've said they intend to. So as long as they get the ratios right on their defense capabilities and that sort of stuff, and their deflection ranges. But yeah, I'm having great fun, like you say, with the Zoe Ret and that sort of stuff. It's quite amusing at the moment. I'm actually using that.
Now I'm kind of hoping.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
Oh, I'm kind of hoping that the new T6 is not going to have like 30 or 40,000 deflection for concussive, because if it's going to be a rush fleet, the one thing you want to have in your layout is going to be Gargoyle 3s.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
And our Gargoyle 3 is going to cut it with a T6 hull. We just don't know because we don't know the defense stats. And that sort of stuff. It'd suck just to see those things bouncing off of it. That's all I can say.
Well, that's why whenever you build your base, you never go one-sided in your base. You always create a balance.
Yeah.
Like you always keep a couple of blunders, maybe a couple of frostbites, a couple of gargles. As long as you've got a good balance of everything, you can stop most of the hull.
Basilisks, Drax Scatterguns.
Drax Scatterguns is one I'm kind of on. Like I think I may replace my last one very shortly.
I've got 2, and I want to kind of replace them with Gargoyle 3s, but
is that because nothing really missile comes in now? Is that the reason? The scatters. You mean? I kept
the Drax Scatter because the Ghost Crawlers. I put it in a nice little position that if the Ghost Crawler gets spotted by something thermal, the Drax Scatter gun will fire and kill it.
Yeah,
that was the main reason I kept mine in. But I mean, besides that, there's not too much of a reason to keep it anymore. So.
Yeah, Kutz just said it in chat as well. My biggest concern is what's the jump going to be between 5 and 6? It's going to need to be big enough to make it worthwhile doing the damn holes. But what we don't want it is so big that the complete imbalance yo-yo that we had 18 months it started ago, but 12 months ago, where all of a sudden you get the ping pong effect of here's the hole, now we've got a turret, here's the turret, now we've got a hole, and that sort of stuff. We start playing that yo-yo. So,
anyone remember whenever Revenges first came out? They were pretty much walking every single base.
Radio just said the same thing as well in chat. Exactly the same thing. We'll get the turret soon because there's a hole soon. That sort of stuff.
Gargoyle 3 still isn't in the retrofit lab and frontline deterrent turrets.
You're right, and it should be, shouldn't it?
But which 1 and 2 are, so presumably they'll play catch up.
But didn't they only recently release the Gargoyle 3?
Yeah, and they also, if I remember, said that they won't be adding anything to the retro lab.
Yeah, because Cannon System 4 isn't in there either, is it?
They're probably working on, redoing the whole fucking system. So we'll have to wait and see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, not a bad idea, I have to say. So, I mean, okay, let's talk about the T6 then. So, as we know, we saw the pictures last week, and there's no stats at all. We've just seen the special, we've just seen the weapon, we've just seen the hull itself. We know it's Draconian, which is nice. I know Stu's really likes that a lot. In fact, takes him back.
Wait, what do I like?
Probably everyone has to shift to just the level 2, so they get good use of that weight reduction.
Yeah, the fact that it's Draconian, just.
I like.
We're back to that, which is nice because it's nice to go full circle, really. So
it's kind of takes you back to the oldest time in the game, like Dreadnought X and Missile Cruiser X was ruined in the game. Quite fun back then.
It's definitely ruining the game. I don't know if it was ruining it, but
I used the wrong word. I need to look it up.
You might have been right though, mate. It's a good play on words there. So it was ruling and maybe ruining some people's days as well. So
Well, it was fun, The whole prep with an MCX, take out a couple of Goliaths, roll in with the Dreadnought X straight after. It was fun days.
Yeah, it definitely was.
I still say it looks like it's from Tron.
From Tron, yeah, it's quite, it's a bit spacey, isn't it? I have to say, but interesting. But it'd be good. So so what have we got? Well, we'll soon find out because Monday, as you know, 11 a.m. that sort of stuff. That's the preview. It kicks off. We're going to be streaming. I think Tito's coming in with me actually on Monday. when we do that. So it's
okay. So are you telling me that I don't have an access to the preview? Okay, well, then I go with you.
If you get in, you get it. Even if you get in access, mate, you can still jump in, and I'll do a Hangouts, and I can then screen share your page as well and that sort of stuff. And I think that they work quite well. We do them together. So anybody, the other admins as well, want to jump in, then
yeah, I'll probably be there. So
yeah, I know you will, Stu. You like me, you love it. So we'll do that and that sort of stuff, and we can jump around and get various different people's perspectives. So we'll get to play. We'll have people's mirrored bases, which is nice. So it'll be basically cloned bases for us to hit, and we'll have the new weapon, we'll have the new hull, and we'll have a new special. So it's just a case of dropping out and hitting an FM target, pick up the bits and bobs, going and building something. We'll probably watch a few hits first and then go and build something and see what we can do with it, and just see how it drives and how it turns and see what the stats are. They obviously won't be the final stats. As you know, some of us we get. Yeah, I was just going to say quickly there. As you know, we do get access, okay, and it's separate to the public access, that sort of stuff. But the good news is they've staggered the public access passwords again. So there's a kick out at 11 o'clock ish, okay, and there's another one at 11:05 as well. So you get two attempts at jumping in, okay. So just thought I'd put that out as well, and that's on the general discussions board as well on the forums.
Well,
I would almost rather see a preview of the new S sets that we're hearing rumors are going to be in this raid versus seeing the new ship.
Well, we saw a preview of them in the VXP weekend.
Yeah, we had that hint already. The VXP weekend target was basically the 105, I think.
Well, Doom said it was a preview of it. It wasn't final, but that's going to be very similar, if not the same. I mean, they might have been happy with it. It might be the same thing, but that was our preview to it. I mean, he said that in the forums.
I've seen.
But Mark, the way you're saying it, are you saying that there are going to be already the 2 targets, or you think it's only going to be 1 this time?
Let's hope it's 1.
Yes, please, God, let it be 1.
That was a hurtful target. If that's the target, no lie, I'm probably going to be grinding out A sets again.
But at least you can. At least you can.
I was actually going to ask that if that's the target at 105, who here is doing A sets, or who here is actually going to try that?
Well, I think I saw some videos at the end of people that was hitting that target and was doing for no damage or minimum.
In fact, Pain Train had a good video up. I saw his, and he managed to get. Again, it's about angle of attack coming in, and I think it was about 3 o'clock, wasn't it, George? And basically, then once you just don't stop.
I think it was a little bit up because Rob was coming in a little bit at a different angle than I was. I was triggering both of those guns at the same time, and that's what was catching me. And he actually got it to where he was getting one at a time, so he could kill him. Like I might do the S sets if I'm merking for someone, but for my own points, I'm probably just going to stick to the A sets. Honestly, so there's much less chance of screwing up in the A sets than there is in that S target. So
muscle memory.
Well, I'll probably just
change ballot. Well, for me, it's going to be real simple. It's just going to be a matter of, if I screw up, how much damage am I going to take, and what's the point payout?
Exactly. Ratio, isn't it? Again,
payout is worth me taking and having that chance screw up, then I'll do the S sets. If it's not worth having that chance screw up, then I'll do A sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Peter, what were you saying, mate?
I was just going to say, I might poke at the S target if my Harlock Ironclad is finished in time. If it's not, I'm just going to try the A sets.
You'll be fine on the A sets, but if especially you've got the Harlock, I have to say, you will definitely notice a difference, because obviously that speed boost is key.
Especially if you use those boys to go on hit and get the bloodthirst, because one that fleet has bloodthirst is nasty.
Yeah, it's a really good fleet.
Tell me about it. I mean, I have actually been splitting the 3 Ironclads I have up into separate fleets and using each one to hit a separate 97, and they just absolutely murder them.
I'll tell you what about Ironclads, actually, quickly. Have you noticed, and I've seen a couple of fleets out there as well, that Millenniums don't do so well on Ironclads as obviously the Ironclad's own Mauser?
It's the splash bonus.
It's the splash bonus from the Mauser itself, and the Ironclad as well. I've seen a couple of people fit out Millenniums, and I've PM'd them, that sort of stuff, and they've gone, worst mistake I ever made. I should have left it with Mausers on it.
Yeah, you want the splash.
But wait, in what targets?
When they're doing the 97s and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
picking
but
up the
that's
baseball.
the problem with that and trying to come up with a conclusion from that basis is that those 97s are based on an old. I mean, you're hitting an old target. We've already looked at the targets like in the A set. What was it? 73? Is that what it was? That was it was a static entry, so that's probably going to be a map target. You're not going to need the splash. There's nothing in that behooves you to have splash. The Millennium will do better. I have my ironclads. The first one was all Mauses because I didn't know any better, or I didn't think through it or whatever. The next two I have with just 3 Mauses, and the rest are Millenniums, because when the targets change, we know what we're going to be facing. It's not going to be the 97s.
It probably isn't at 73. It probably will be.
Yeah, I agree with George on that, especially because on that last preview, I tested the Ironclad with the Millennium and the high velocity runs, and they do much better. Actually, even my mousers that now are hitting the bases, they still have mousers, but I don't use the Canon System 4. I use the high velocity runs.
The HVR,
and I'm getting. If I play the two at the same time, I'm getting 6 minutes of damage on it. So it's working perfectly well for me.
Well, that's good.
On the 97.
But weren't there a few targets in the last raid where you had like clusters of turrets in them?
Yeah, they did, and I must admit the Mauser was no, in fact the Millennium was doing it as well, because they were definitely. Yeah, I mean the way I was going in and doing, I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, 75s I think it was.
75.
You're going into the clockwise motion, that sort of stuff, and you could take out the first turret if you got to it quickly, and the fact by taking out the first one, you take out the center of the two, which means it didn't turn on fire on you, and then you had to worry about the one at the end, sort of.
I suggest even on the Cannoneers to have some sort of a splash, because that's this way. If you screw up with the first shot, you are going to kill the MP tower, and that gives you some seconds, so you can fix.
I had 2 Mauses on my Cannoneers. I had 2 Mauses in the last raid, and it did perfect for those little targets. The issue though is that I'm looking forward to the chores, which usually means that the Ironclad's going to be the better
I agree.
Lazy pirate. I want to auto these things. The Ironclad's what you want to go for, and the targets that have the static entry are more than likely going to be what they choose for the map targets because of the static entry. I think that's why they have the static entry, and that would be like the 73. The 73, if that's the top target, doesn't have any clusters. You're not going to get no benefit from a splash.
I was going to say, Nick in chat just said basically he found, and I found as well, the 75 is actually the easiest one of the A sets. The 73 takes a while because it's got a set path. You've got to come to a certain area and that sort of stuff. Whereas the 75 is a zip round, like a clock face, isn't it? And this,
I think it also depends on how you are facing, on how many ships you are facing it. Because I remember Jefe was doing quite well with a single of those Cannoneers on the 71 and 73, but on the 75 he was getting trouble. But actually, the 75 with Ironclads is even much easier than with the Cannoneer.
Well, I was going to say the 75 was my easiest one to learn, but the 73, once you got enough Cannoneers together in the fleet, you could drive whatever you wanted. You could, there's one video actually, I think, that I was doing donuts at the entrance just to show that you actually had enough speed to do whatever you wanted in the 73. But it depended heavily on your speed.
I've built my Ironclads now ready for admin for later on when it comes into doing actually,
auto.
When it comes to,
Another probably everybody, not just the ones that maybe coined the Harlock Cannoneer have it. Man, I think that you are nearly, if you put the Wrecking Crew or the other one, or the Keeping Death, you are going to probably just kill the targets in a single shot in most of those.
Wrecking Crew and I think Demolition Squad are the ones you're talking about, right?
No, the Creeping Death, the one that gives you also 30 or 35 seconds more when you hit the base.
Yeah, extra 30 seconds, isn't it? And you get, the
demo squad works pretty well, but the problem is that not everybody has
Creeping
access
Death,
to that one.
I use it a lot. It's got a good timeline on it. It lasts a long time, that sort of stuff. Like you say, particularly in base hits, it's great because it gives you extra 30 seconds, so you can do some nice bits of prep. And you get the extra building damage. I think it's brilliant. It rolls really easy. I think it's a good crew, that one. I like it.
For me, and even the cheapest one, the Wrecking Crew, was amazing because that 40% was a game changer in those targets.
So do we have our thought plan? Do we still reckon then that obviously when it comes to they'll become the PvE targets and that sort of stuff? It's going to be a 73.
And there was like 2 of the 50s or something.
Something from the 50s. I don't like the 50 targets. So they took too long as far as I was concerned. And they had that ridiculous. They had that ridiculous freaking oil spill thing in there, which I didn't like.
Yeah, I haven't tried them. I stuck to the A targets so much that I didn't get a chance to try them. And honestly, if it goes to a map target, and it's going to be base parts, I'm probably going to want to go for the 73 anyway. So
yeah, but so then
the problem with the 50s that I found was the 51 because you only had those 2 giant launcher turrets, but the pathing it was basically a maze. And a hidden maze at that, so it was just like you try to auto that, and your ships are going to get stuck.
Yeah, it did me. I didn't. I actually exited the target before finishing. I went, I could have done an ASAP by now.
The one I didn't like at all, I think, was the 55 because it has some sort of magnet walls on the right side, and if you get close with your ships over there, you are stuck. You cannot move, and you have to pray that you are not in range of any of those long-range ballistic turrets, because if not, you cannot even retreat.
Stu, you did some of those, didn't you, mate? Did you do a video on that? The 55, I think it was. I'm pretty sure you did. Did you do a 55 video? Weren't you hitting 55, something like that? Or you picked up a fault or something with it?
74.
Was it 70? The 74, that was it. Sorry, mate. Yeah, it was.
Blitz target.
That Blitz one, yeah.
Yeah, what about it, mate?
I hope they don't use that as one of the... I'm just thinking what's coming next back in, what they're going to use from these targets to bring back into the PvE when we change on the next cycle.
Oh, what you mean for base parts?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's going to have to be the ones that have that static entrance. Otherwise, there's going to be all sorts of issues with things getting hung up and stuck. And I think they designed those targets with a purpose.
I'm just thinking the 74 because we've got a 102, we've got a 75, we've got a 57, and we've got a 30.
As long as it's not too grindy and it's like a dumbed down version of the target, so I'm not too bothered,
Well,
I don't really want to
mirror image. I think it'll just be the same targets. I think that's what they'll do.
I don't like the idea of having to grind for base parts now when I can do them currently on auto,
Which the 73 wouldn't be able to do, not without taking...
It just adds more chores to the game, and I already have enough chores. I already have enough targets I have to drive in, so we'll see what they come up, but I hope it's like a dumbed down version of a smaller target.
Right, so we're coming up to the hour. I was just going to say, basically, we've got 10 minutes, we'll spend 10 minutes now. Guys in the chat, if you've got anything you want to bring up, just punch in a few keys there and let us know what the subject matter is, or anybody across the panel there. Time's your own. What do you want to talk about?
Well, do you think, guys, that after seeing the chat and us here talking, they should maybe bring back the TLC for the Ironclads for those that couldn't get it the first time?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
And the Zelos.
And George, are you going to do something tomorrow?
Oh, yes. Do some advertising, George.
Yeah. Oh, are we going to do that now? I was going to wait till the end. But so tomorrow, Emery's here. Dr. Death's here. We're going to have a small panel. We're going to try doing an introduction and overview for the mega hulls because the requirements have dropped enough where it's significantly enough where it's not an end game player type of thing only now. So we're going to do an intro, the basics to how to get it, how to build it, what to build first, and then that should probably take the first 10-15 minutes, and the rest of the time I think we're going to concentrate on what to build and upgrade so you can get through all of those TLCs, because a lot of people are having difficulty getting past some of the points of the TLC, and some people are getting frustrated that I got to coin this, I got to coin that, and you really don't have to coin anything to get through that TLC. So we're gonna try and walk everybody through from the very beginning of getting one to getting some success in the TLC, and then after that, I don't know if it's going to migrate here. I don't know what we're going to do with it. I just want to see if people are actually interested enough to want us to do that, and then we'll go from there and see if we'll get to the points of strategy and setting them up for defense and offense. But the first one's going to be intro, how to get it, what to do, what to build, how to get past the TLCs, and hopefully help some people get a handle on it, because people are getting real frustrated with the mega hulls, not quite understanding them.
I think once a month, if it's popular, but once a month thing, that'd be quite good as a summary for the month of what's happened.
Yeah.
And what's the changes
Something
have been.
like
Yeah, it'd be quite decent.
Well, at this point, I'd like to...
Bastard.
I was just about to say, at this point, I'd like to point out the fact that I will not be taking part in this. So if you go in there just to see me, you won't find me.
It's going to be. Look, I know it's Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be at it's 2:00 kickside time. So it's going to be the same time as our show here today, I think, and it should end well before Super Bowl because I want to watch my Patriots play and see how they do. So, but yeah, we're going to try it. We're going to try it and see what happens, and hopefully help a bunch of people get into it. Is what I want to do.
The big stumbling block appears to be that people can't get the better weapons. So
all right. Yeah, it's the getting.
You're going to be addressing. You're likely to win over a lot of people towards mega hulls because people try that, they fail and think, oh, it's not for me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of frustration that I've heard, especially getting into the TLC to get the weapons because everyone wants the drones. You know, that makes your mega hull at least be able to stand a little bit on its own. But getting there, sometimes people are getting real frustrated with it, and we're going to try and push past all that and get people to have some success and without coin. You know, that's the thing is like Imri's really good at doing the TLCs with 0 coin. I think I know I've done them without coin. I don't know about Death because he's impatient as hell because he just is.
Be like PK.
Yeah, he's like fucking I'm coining it. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll try.
I don't coin everything. Geez.
Yeah.
Just most of it.
No. Between Target and Target, he never coins. That I can give you a proof. And Stu, you have to go to that show because you're the start of the show. At the end of each show, and the first one, you start clicking and you start building the gantry. On the next show, you start clicking and you build the mega ship. And then after each show, so people see that you take interest in it.
All right, mate. All right, I'll do that. Yeah, if you can put 10,000 gold on my account, how about that? Yeah, when I see it on my account, I'll jump on.
You didn't pick the point. It's code free.
Tito, it was Stu who we were gonna. Anybody that has questions about the show tomorrow, we were just going to direct them to Stu for answers.
Yeah. Stu's email is going to be posted.
I know how to deactivate my Facebook.
24 hours, 7 days a week.
It's interesting. We got like Toxic in the chat there. It says it's a real shame that the players need to teach each other how to play the game rather than Kixie playing it. But I think we do that anyway. And I think we've done that from day one. If we didn't do that, why are we sat here right now talking?
Isn't that the purpose of these communities is to help the other players learn how to play this game and learn tricks
or not
I think
pits and traps.
I think he's speaking towards the just complexity of it because trying to write that article, I wrote an intro article to the damn mega hulls, and as I was writing it I was just going like, holy shit, just the basic stuff, and I mean that was just the basic stuff was a huge article, and I was like, wow, it really is more complex. Like just trying to look at it, having done them, I take everything for granted. So I have to try and step back and go, okay, I don't know shit about this. Let me see how am I going to write this for people that haven't done it. And I'm like, wow, there actually is a good chunk of information here that you got to know to go forward.
Oh yeah.
For me, on a mega hull, mate. I'm not sure to say Battlestar Galactica. There's a program that used to be on, right? I see the mega hull as a Battlestar. And then the drones that go on it as little ships. And then basically it's the drones that you chock in and out. It's just like you can put then, because they go, oh, why can you change the drones for free? Well, you can change your ships in your base for free. You're not getting charged for changing your guard around. It's the same sort of concept. So what guard are you putting on your Battlestar Galactica hull, that sort of stuff, i.e. a mega ship? It's not costing you anything to chop them in and out and that sort of stuff. But to build the stuff on the drone, yeah, of course it is. That's where you need titanium and that sort of stuff, and what the weapon's going to be, the level it's going to be, the percentage of protection that it's going to be, and that sort of stuff, and what counters you're going to help that particular module. So I sort of get it that way, and then it sort of makes sense. Whereas you treat the thing as a ship, it isn't a ship. That's the point. It's a floating.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also a very big. It's a big step.
That's what it is, a floating base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unlike your base, you can build a whole bunch of extra modules, and then you can swap in and out depending on what scenario you're going after. If you're attacking, or if you're sitting and guarding, or if you're doing a TLC. I mean, there's a lot of options once you get further advanced in your build on that map.
Right. But what I'm trying to concentrate on is just the basic concepts, and that alone is more complex than most people realize, and especially where they reduce the requirements now, such that people that are level 50 can probably get them. It might be a little bit complex for people at that point to try and grasp when they haven't got everything else. So that's why.
What
that's
we'll
the
pause.
point.
Let's pause on the mega holes because that's yours show tomorrow, so we don't steal some of that. So there's already lots to talk about, which is good. Stu, you got a closing point, mate?
Yeah, well, I'd like to point out as well is this is not the only game that a community exists to help players. I mean, I recently started playing Rainbow Six Siege for the first time, and quick search on YouTube, there's someone doing videos on how to learn the maps, where to sit and stuff like that. Every single game has a gaming community, and there will be someone in that gaming community that is willing to help the gaming community. This is not the only game that needs it. So I mean, it's not like Kixeye should make the game easier. It just exists because players will always be confused by games.
Yeah, and
very difficult.
And some of it's selfish on our own part because look, honestly, we're helping the community, but we're also kind of helping ourselves because with the community being strong and helping everybody actually enjoy and play and understand the game, we get more content with more players playing the game. It's kind of a cyclical thing there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Fallout 4's got it. I mean, everybody's
the only game I've kind of worked in a community for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so much out there, guys.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm real selfish on this whole mega hole thing because I'm so sick and tired of going out and finding nothing but 145s out there on the map that ain't got no data chips or metal alloys for me to farm. So we got to get you guys out there playing with your mega ships so I can come hit you.
I'm doing all right this week.
Yeah, the level 50s bases, no? The mega ships, the 145. And one thing about mega ships, when I first started it, because Josh pushed me to do it, I was not very happy with the idea. And I tell you, when you do the first 2 TLCs, maybe it's boring. But after the third one is when it becomes interesting, especially after seeing people playing with them and learning how to do it. And I'm just willing to have my drone so I can start doing more with them. And it gets interesting as you play. But yeah, the first 2 times is not very interesting, especially the DLCs. But after the third, it becomes quite an interesting thing to play with.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, right. That's it. Let's call it a night. We're done. Thanks all for coming on the panel. And thanks all for coming in chats. Look forward to, obviously, the show tomorrow. So that'll be a mega show mayhem moment. Okay, that'll be good. We're going to definitely do the stream on Monday as well. So look forward to that. And then interesting. Okay, the game update after a preview sometimes is delayed. I don't know if it's going to be Tuesday. I don't know if it's going to be Wednesday. But obviously, we will do it on the day that it's actually going to be released. Okay, so just bear that in mind. We won't, have a show if it's not got the weekly update and that sort of stuff. So, what time, George, are you going to go for the mega show time?
It's going to be 2 o'clock Kixeye time.
2 o'clock Kixeye time. Okay, 2 p.m.
So it should be the same. Yeah, so same time as our show tonight, I believe.
Super. Right. Yeah. Okay. All they say is good night. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.